discussion that my big brother, Dr. Leroy Hines, you guys know him. He's been with us several times in recent weeks. But yeah, and he'll be back today, hopefully in just a little bit, to share with us a little bit more. He's the one that really was the impetus of driving this idea and kind of bring it into our I guess our orbit at this time. And I was very happy that he wanted to shine the light on this subject. I really was. And so we took his audio from his amazing Zoom call that Michael and I participated in and just wanted to share that. It was a great discussion. I listened back to it this morning with all of you guys right here on our show. To part one. Tomorrow will be part two at 6 o'clock in the morning from 6 to 7. And then again, we'll have a live discussion at 8. So this is where we are. And I've got to start in, let's lead on in. Nicole Marie, can you kind of start us off with a little bit on what you heard this morning between 6 and 7?
Well, thank you, Kerry. Let me first just say I enjoyed the discussion this morning. I think it's key and very pertinent to open up the discussion, so I'm glad it's being brought to the Hair Radio Morning Show as well. As an educator, I see bullying all of the time, but I know that bullying takes place not only at schools, but in the workplace, at home, just, sports, just all over. So it's key for us to have discussions, continue discussions, and just at all levels, just to have these discussions. It was very important this morning, someone that was on the call talked about positive reinforcement. Yeah. And, of course, here on the Hair Radio Morning Show, we're all about affirmations, positive self-talk, and so forth. So it's very important, speaking from an educator and being in the school setting, to open the conversation with the students. During the time when, a lot of us were growing up, times have changed so much. So much has changed, and our kids now are dealing with so much more. They have so much more on them, the peer pressure, social media. Everything is just intensified now. So as an educator, having those positive interactions with children, talking to them, seeing what's going on. Their home lives are much different nowadays. And so just being able to speak a positive word, to be a positive role model, to instill that self-confidence, whether it's their schoolwork, whether it's just something personal that you see in them. It's key. Their self-worth is key. And so it's very important for us as adults to have those conversations with them, not only the children at school, but our children at home, in our own homes, that may go through bullying. It's key. Yeah. So just opening up conversation, that's the most important thing.
I love that, and I think you're correct on that. Michael Hopkins, I have to turn to Michael, who again is the host of Vet Talk Radio Show. He was with me on this Zoom that we played earlier today, right here on the Hair Radio Morning Show. Michael Hopkins out of Spotsylvania, Virginia. Michael, what do you say? First of all, again, good morning. It's our third hour of the day, the spotlight hour. You participated on the Zoom call. Were you aware that there was so much going on with the bullying these days, and has it always been? And you have a military perspective, so did it exist in the military? I was wondering that. So what do you want to say, Michael?
Oh, yes, Kerry. Bullying, military, yes, kind of synonymous. That's the reason why you see a lot of these things coming out, like with the Navy SEALs and a lot of the high-speed, low-drag units with the training. That's why you see now a lot of it is coming out, because it's the nature of the business that we're in when we're in the military. things are going to happen, and it's unfortunate. It really is. It's unfortunate, but things happen, and people get bullied. And it's a continuous thing. It doesn't matter what branch you're in, and it doesn't matter what era of the military that you were in. It's a continuous thing. And no matter what the higher-up people try to do, or they get Congress and Senate involved, and they do this legislature, or they do a stand down and this and that, it's still happening. It really is.
Wow.
And it's hard to stop it.
Yes, I agree with you. I wanted to ask you, what was it like participating on that call, and what did you learn from that? And again, we played the audio from that on the first hour today. We're talking about the Zoom call that Dr. Leroy Hines orchestrated and had a lot of his colleagues and folks who've been affected by this. But what do you want to say about that call and participating?
Well, Kerry, I really got a lot of it, especially because I have 9 grandchildren, and half of which are in some type of education, be it elementary or high school or even beyond that. And just had been maybe a month or so ago, my next to oldest granddaughter was involved in an incident, and she's basically an adult. She's not in high school, but she was at work, and she got bullied and attacked by one of her coworkers. And one thing led to another, boyfriend and spraying and this and that and all these. So now it's a court thing now.
Oh, my.
So
it's elevated to the legal system.
Right.
Wow.
Right. It elevated to the legal system. But I really enjoyed the conversation that we had about bullying, because as a lot of us, and I brought it up, it's a whole new different world. Just like Nicole Marie said, it's a whole new different world. Bullying to me, when I was growing up, it was 2 guys, and I didn't like you, you didn't like me, or you picked on me for a minute. I got mad at you. I may have punched you, hit you, verbally said something to you, and then that was the end of that. But now we got the cyberbullying. We got this thing, the computer age, calling people, texting and all these things. So as adults and parents and grandparents, we have to be aware of these things. And we can't just say, suck it up and, don't be such a baby and all this other stuff. No, it has deadly consequences. Some of these kids are actually, we see it, some of these kids are taking their own lives. Why? Because mentally they can't take it anymore. Same thing happens in the military.
Wow. Well, we're going to be checking in with you, Michael, and we're going to be talking about this throughout the hour. I've got to turn to someone who I believe is going to be able to put this in the right perspective or context for us this morning. I'm talking about Dr. Paul Dyer, who joins us on the Hair Radio Morning Show Thursdays and Friday mornings in the last hour from 8 to 9 Eastern. So, Dr. Dyer, you've been listening, and we love having your perspective on this show. It's a huge topic. It has so many different legs to it, we say in the industry. There's so many different aspects to this. And I just wanted to begin with your take on it. And one question that I have to you: is bullying different in our community? We're talking about the melanin community, if you will. Is bullying perceived differently for us than it is for folks who are outside of our community? So that's my setup for you. Again, Dr. Paul Dyer, please weigh in. Take it away.
Well, the answer is most definitely it's so different. And I won't stress this enough. When we talk about adverse childhood experiences, and some of the people who are educators, like our queen here, they take it's part of the ACEs, right? So what's an adverse childhood experience? Anything, all those bullying, what precipitates bullying in the schools, it starts in the home. What precipitates bullying in the schools starts in the home. And how it starts in the home in the Black community is sit your Black ass down. Do what I tell you to do. That creates an avenue of you being told what to do, so that destroys your personal confidence development. When you are told to just do, and you're told to just listen and be controlled like an animal, that's how Black parents speak to their children. Historically, that's how Black parents speak to their children. And we talked about this once before, about how come kids don't have entrepreneur spirits and things like that. It's because they don't know how to have hope or dreams. When so many parents say, I don't have time to listen to you, I don't have time to deal with you, I got so much other going on. We're not even talking about what you call, quote, the bad parent who's alcohol and addicted. When you affect a child's brain at such an early age by neglecting them, either hugging them or speaking to them with kind, not in kind, but with kind and compassion, you are formulating what you call part of that brain, which is the pleasure center, destruction. That's why so many bullying is extended to alcoholism, to drug, to sexual abuse. All this starts from the wound. If you have if you have a difficulty in your pregnancy because the mate you with is screaming at you, you are affecting the chemistry of the brain. So you're allowing the bullying. We only see bullying in the elementary school or later in life, but it has been started because how can some kids get affected by bullying and some kids don't? Do you know why? It's because some kids are affected at an early age by bullying, so they're more susceptible to the chemical producing this hostility that goes into their bodies. All this isn't something new. And as far as what Brother Michael's talking about, we were built on bullying. We came to this country to take over the native lands of the First Nation. It was bullying. Everything in the world, what we call global domination, when we take over someone's tribe, when we take over someone's minerals, we do it for our own benefit. Bullying is the same thing. Bullying is someone doing it for their own personal thing. Now, as an adult, when you have someone who's abusing you as an adult, whether it be male or female, we don't know that we're being bullied. We just think that we're being punked, and we don't know how to stand up for ourselves, and we're not strong enough to handle it. So now we're actually we're taking in all those hurtful comments because we're trying to defend ourselves. But we shouldn't have to defend ourselves against someone who says they love us, and that's why abusers can abuse.
Yeah.
How about that?
Yeah, I didn't know if you guys were going to jump in, but I have to say I'm just blown away. I love the breakdown, and it's insightful. It really is.
Yes, it is.
Again, bullying. Yeah, Michael, it affects us on so many levels. And and I'm hoping Dr. Lee will join us in just a moment because I want to ask him. And because Dr. Dyer broke it down, we kind of have an idea how it kind of starts. And you know what? You're really correct. But I also have to say, what starts in the home, I think, can also be addressed in the home. I think it can be taught how to handle and deal with it. And that's something that we're going to get into a little bit later as we share more of our stories. But my belief is, being a person who was bullied,